Dharohar as a project is more than just music.
Dharohar is a folk band from Rajasthan, made up of musicians from different castes and religions that would never normally play together. The British Council funded the experiment and invited 2 musicians from England, Jason Singh and Bex Mather, to come to India and be part of the unique adventure.
Divya Bhatia came to this World Summit and he'd seen me and Bex perform. So he'd seen Bex do a workshop during the day and he'd seen me do a performance in the evening. And what had happened was, after we'd finished, Divya had met me and Bex and said, you know, would you seen what you've done today? It's really great. Would you be interested in doing some work in India?
I felt they were the kinds of artists who would be willing to share what they knew, would be willing to have other artists stand up next to them without feeling threatened. I really wanted there to be a sharing culturally.
And then very quickly, we just started this dialogue about doing some stuff for the Rajasthan International Folk Festival in Jaipur. And working on a collaboration, working with some musicians, folk musicians from Rajasthan.
So we had 1 or 2 days and we worked, led workshop activities basically, so people were sharing their own, kind of introducing themselves musically.
We all got together in a circle and I remember we started off by playing games, just warm-up games. And that was really interesting because we hadn't really done that in the context of going to India and doing warm-up games with musicians and people that had never done warm-up games like that before. So introducing all of that, it was just like, God, what is this all about?
You have to understand that traditionally Rajasthani artists don't rehearse before a performance. They get together, they assemble something and that's it. Because so much of what they have learned has been through family and listening to music, etc. Well, this was going to entail a process of rehearsal. And the big challenge when you work with traditional artists and the idea of rehearsal is they can get bored very easily with the idea of repeating the same track again and again in a day.
Most of the musicians are from different communities. They would never have played together. They're being given a completely open platform to create new music.
It has been and continues to be a wonderful musical collaboration which has produced some beautiful sound and was reaching an increasingly large audience in both countries. I was at the concert last night at Kalagerda. Huge response from a 1,500 strong crowd of youngish Mumbaikers who could see that this strange guy beatboxing from Manchester had found a way of talking to and understanding and engaging with these traditional folk musicians from Rajasthan, and that they were making something new.
One of our goals has always been to kind of get Indian musicians from Rajasthan recognised on an international platform. So, you know, they're actually seen as individuals, they're seen as musicians, as human beings, doing their art form.
John and Faith Singh are the founders of JVF, an NGO that supports traditional Rajasthani folk music.
Generally, the musicians would come in from the back door and be treated like rubbish, actually. And they would sing when people were drinking or not paying much attention, and then they would disappear from the back door. And we insisted that they be treated like everybody else.
And I really do hope that, you know, these projects like Dharohar and all the other music projects and other artistic creative projects that happen, they break down these barriers and they break down these walls.
Jumma bhai, this one for you. Chocolate!